Hello brains! Here's a riddle for you. If I'm supposed to study for a test but I can't get started because I'm hyper-focused on playing a video game and then I fail that test, whose fault is it? Mine or my ADHD? The answer, it's complicated. ADHD is a chronic medical condition, and like any chronic medical condition, it comes with symptoms that create impairments that can't always be perfectly managed. One of those symptoms is difficulty regulating attention, transitioning from one task to the next, especially one that's less stimulating, and then actually being able to focus on that task. Even when we want to, even when we know it's really important, which in this situation created the impairment of not being able to study and doing terribly on the tests. Does that mean I get to fail every test and it's fine because my ADHD made me? No. Even though my ADHD isn't my fault, it's still my responsibility to find ways to work with my brain, tools and strategies that will help it be able to do what I want it to do so that I can have the kind of life I want to have. But here's the problem. If we don't know why our brains are having a hard time focusing, and everyone else seems to be able to do it if they just put in the effort, it's easy to believe it's just our fault. At first, that might look like guilt. Oh man, I should have started studying earlier. I should work harder at this. So we try to. But the 50th time it happens, we might start to feel like our behavior isn't actually the problem. We are. And it doesn't help when our parents, teachers, and classmates agree. Flaky, stupid, unmotivated, disorganized, difficult student, procrastinator, irresponsible, space cadet, lazy. These are the labels a lot of us with ADHD pick up before our actual diagnosis. And even with a diagnosis, these labels are hard for us to shake. By then, many of us have internalized them. And there are still those who will say to our face or our Facebook feeds that our ADHD doesn't even exist, when everyone around you is doubting you. It's really hard not to doubt yourself. And all of the stigma and misunderstanding results in an incredible amount of shame. And while guilt can be productive, because guilt is about our actions, and our actions we can change, shame is never productive. Shame can actually be debilitating because shame doesn't tell us our actions are wrong. It tells us we are wrong. This shame can keep us from seeking the help we need. On the way to his diagnosis, my husband looked at me in the car and said, "What if I'm just lazy?" Luckily, I was driving, so we kept going, but I hear from so many people who are afraid to seek a diagnosis because what if it's just them? What if they don't have ADHD? What if it's just their fault? Shame can keep us from using strategies that could work for us. Because if we feel like we should be able to study without checking in with an accountability buddy, we're less likely to do it. Shame can make us feel like we'll never be anything but a failure. Instead of motivating us to change, shame can contribute to anxiety, depression, even addiction. So what's a brain to do? First, educate yourself, and if possible, the people around you, on how your brain works. A lot of research has been done on ADHD, so there's a lot of good information out there. Articles, books, YouTube videos, podcasts, not all of it is reliable, but there are plenty of trustworthy sources for ADHD information that can help you learn how your brain works and what can help with the impairments. Second, connect with others with ADHD. Because while experts can be an important part of our mental health journey, they can't necessarily take away our shame. When a doctor prescribes us ADHD medication, we might feel ashamed if we believe we shouldn't need it. Even going to a therapist can feel embarrassing, like there's something wrong with us, like we need to be fixed. Connecting with others with ADHD can help us let go of that shame by normalizing what we're going through. Because it is normal when you have ADHD. It's normal for treatment to include therapy and medication and for that to still not be enough. It's normal to struggle with things as simple as doing the laundry or the dishes or sitting still in a chair. And when you don't have to explain why those things are hard for you, when you can talk openly about your struggles and be met with empathy and understanding and humor instead of skepticism and judgment and pity. It's healing. Knowing you're not alone is healing. And that's what's magical about this community. Those of you in this community who have opened up about your struggles and strategies and strengths have changed my life and each other's lives for the better. We've celebrated each other's accomplishments. We've traded ADHD-friendly life hacks that come from hard-earned experience. And we've helped each other let go of a lot of shame.